I believe you had a question for us, John.
Okay, so one of the biggest additions in this game are Z moves.
Yes.
Pretty essentially just like ultra flashy super attacks in a sense. What do you guys think about their inclusion in this game? And did you find yourself using them a whole lot? Because after a while, I gotta tell you, I got kind of sick of the overly long battle animations.
I use them for bosses and totems and all that, but not like normal
rather
battles.
Than adding some fancy super attack or something, or new passive abilities or whatever it is they're innovating with, I'd rather they just boost the number of moves each individual Pokemon has from 4 to 6 or 8 or something. So
dude, that would make. I mean, okay, the competitive
would make
Pokemon
the game
scene would not
fundamentally incompatible with all previous generations for all time. But at the same time, my biggest problem with Pokemon is that you have one Pokemon out at a time, and it has 4 moves. And in single player, this isn't such a bad thing, but in competitive play, it brings into focus the "there's only one right way to do things" problem with the whole system.
I think the problem is that if you start increasing the moveset pool, you're discouraging team-based play, which is what Pokemon has always been since Gen 1.
So to bring things back to Z moves for a moment, like I don't feel like I use them too much. Like in my most recent Ultra Moon playthrough, I barely used them at all. But the thing is that you're typically limited to 1 Z move per battle because that's how they keep it balanced. The thing is that most trainers in this game have only 1 Pokemon, and I think like the most a standard trainer will have is like 3. And this is end-to-end game, where if you compare... This is something that really started in Black and White, I noticed. So if you compare to the first 4 gens, end-game trainers will have like 4 to 5 Pokemon. In early game, by like Gym 2, you're still running into trainers with like 3 or 4.
That always bugged me about Pokemon. The trainers having like a small group rather than using all 6 of their goddamn slots like an intelligent player would.
I mean, not every trainer should have 6 because that will make the game drag.
Yeah,
but end game, they should have more than 2.
I know why they do it, because they don't want the trainer battles. They want to have a bunch of smaller battles rather than long marathon fights all the time. That makes some degree of sense, and I think like most of the trainers that you run across in the wild, the trainers hanging out on routes and everything, should probably be, your Little League trainers who have like 3 Pokemon that they really focus on training, rather than being the big heavy hitters with 6. But still, I think that they should throw in more trainers that have a full roster of 6 Pokemon, so that it doesn't seem like you're the only trainer on the planet with a brain in your skull.
Even most gym leaders, Gen 5 and onwards, only have like 3 tops. It's not until you get to the Elite 4 where they even have like 5. Yeah.
Yeah,
at that point, you just gotta assume that every gym leader was born into the role, not necessarily because they had a competitive.
Well, anyway, back to Z moves. I don't mind them. I feel like it was an obvious response to the Mega Evolution problem that they kind of introduced, where, we're gonna give some Pokemon a super cool quote-unquote, because a lot of them kind of sucked, but super cool new form, but that's inherently leaving out a lot of other Pokemon.
Yeah.
This is a way to give every Pokemon some kind of way to be flashy and cool and stuff.
And you can still have the super special stuff, because a lot of Pokemon do have exclusive Z moves, like Snorlax, Pikachu, Mew, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
High reference.
Also, high reference.
Did they really put the words "my body is ready" into a
to be fair, they've been doing that the last couple of Pokemon generations.
I think it's been happening since Black and White 2, actually.
Yeah.
No, it's like it's one thing if you're gonna put in like a well-known meme phrase, but "my body is ready" is it's kind of innuendo.
Speaking about Pokemon memes in particular, I don't think they have the Shorts meme in this game at all.
No, there isn't.
Yeah, and
there is a youngster Joey, but no one mentions Shorts.
Yeah. Because I believe...
Shorts? Why? No, it's fucking cold outside.
Cold? You're in Hawaii.
Okay. From the outside, this place looks really rough and tumble. But it's actually one of the coolest looking Pokemon labs in the series. And it's all to do with that goddamn aquarium in the middle. It's like the perfect centerpiece for this kind of thing. I also like the floating heart Pokemon. That's
Love Disc.
Well, that's just because Kukui's just the best professor so far. Like he's the only one with any amount of character to him and like any amount of significance to the plot after like the first 10 minutes. You know, like most of the other professors are really throwaway and lame. And Kukui
here's one of the other reasons why I'm glad we're doing Vanilla Sun and Moon.
Oh God, frickin' RotomDex. Okay, so
not a novel idea, I have to say.
Novel idea, but God damn it, shut up.
Like, I mean, he's chatty in Sun and Moon Vanilla, but after post game, when he stops talking about the plot, he's just, he's quiet. In Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, they try to make this thing where you can be friends with Rotom, and if you poke his face when he's sad, you get little hearts, and he'll give you items. And while the items are really, really good, he won't stop talking, and so when I just want to see the map on the bottom screen, he's just going, blah, 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 here's advice you didn't ask for. Did you know that you can register ride Pokemon to the D-pad? Yes, RotomDex, I've had my ride Pokemon registered to the D-pad for the last 40 hours. Go away.
Oh, man.
Hey, did you save? I literally saved 5 seconds ago, Rotom.
Your Pokemon could be in need of some healing. I'm literally in a Pokemon Center going to the counter right now.
Am I the only one who remembers being a 90s kid and really, really wanting the electronic Pokedexes they sold at stores?
Oh, like the
Dexter?
ones, the ones that like talk to you and stuff. Oh,
yeah,
that was
the
so
ones
cool.
with the little black and white screens. Those ones. They were the coolest goddamn thing when it was in the middle of the Pokemon craze. Like,
you know what I want? Actual Dexter back, the snarky one that makes fun of you.
So, can you think of a worser hell between Rotom Pokédex and Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, or saving a lot of data in Gen 4?
At least saving a lot of data as actually doing something inherently.
So, although, to be fair, if you go within 50 feet of that PC box, you're going to be saving a lot of data, though.
Yeah.
It's more like the Navi kind of problem is the thing. Where it's just like, okay, it would be fine if you could just turn it off. There's no option to turn it off.
They wanted to have something going on in that second screen besides the battle.
The map is fine!
Yeah, I know, but it's like there's... and since this is somewhat of a Nintendo second-party property, I would say, they really wanted to emphasize the second screen because they're beholden to Nintendo. They really want to sell this thing. They don't just want to sell their game, they want to sell the system, So they want that second screen to really mean something and be novel and unique, and by
the map is fine.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah. Again, if there was just an option to turn off Rotom's stupid mouth, like even Bubsy allows you to shut up Bubsy. So
yeah, that. Speaking of your Bubsy review, John, I kind of wanted to reach through the screen and just say, point at your monitor and say, you can turn Bubsy off,
Yeah.
You can turn off his voice. It's the best feature in the game.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah.
So Melee Island is kind of like tutorial land.
Boring.
Yeah.
Well, that's understandable because most RPGs usually have that kind of area.
Yeah, but it just feels a little bit more prominent, I don't know, in this game because there literally just is an entire island of tutorial fight all over the place.
I gotta say, the fashion rides editing battles looks like the kid's constantly running away from paparazzi.
Another problem with that, though, is that, well, like we mentioned, this game has shifted into the PlayStation 2 era of RPG design. And the thing that set PlayStation 2 era RPGs apart from RPGs of previous generations, and really this started with games like Final Fantasy VIII and such, but it takes longer to walk from one end of one area to the other end of the other area because everything is so much more realistically sized and distanced from each other.
Which does get better, though, later in the game when you get your Tauros.
And you don't have to, find the running shoes or anything like that anymore.
Running shoes.
But the net result for the tutorial section is that, yeah, the tutorial section is more prominent design-wise here, but it also takes longer to get through it. Just in the simple act of walking.
Yeah, I mean, great. The trainer school, I think, is the worst of it, because you just have to walk around this really kind of boring area. Once you get out of Halali City, or however you pronounce it, I do think that Melee Island's fine. It's not really until you get into Akala Island that things get better. And did you just run around in circles in the...
I remember when you had to do like 500 laps in Goldenrod to get one of these to have.
I actually, before I even did the recording, I got the eggs and got them within like 20 steps of hatching.
Yeah. So since you hatched them on your file, you get standard experience, I'm guessing, right?
Standard experience, and they will actually obey me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't think...
Pretty cool workaround, actually, yeah.
Yeah, oh, so there's actually something really, really funny. I think it might be exclusive to older generations, but I'm not sure. So shiny Pokemon check a value with your trainer number in order to determine whether or not they're shiny. But with egg Pokemon, if you trade them as an egg, it kind of, like, weirds that out a little bit. So you can trade an egg to another person. It will hatch out of the egg as shiny because the egg was looking at the first trainer's ID number, and then when you look at its status later on the second person's, it won't be shiny anymore. And it can happen the other way around, too, where you trade the egg to person, bizarre. It hatches normal, and then suddenly, wow, a shiny Pokemon. It's bizarre.
Oh my god, I think my Pokemon has a disease.
I don't think they can hatch with Pokerus, John. Jeez, learn your Pokemon lore.
So, to this day, I still have not gotten Pokemon.
Really?
I have never gotten.
Like, I mean, I've gotten Pokerus Pokemon through Wonder Trade, but not legitimately.
Like, there's rare, and then there's damn.
I think it's like 1 in 20,000 or something like that.
I've gotten it naturally.
Yeah.
I've never had Pokerus, and the only shiny Pokemon I've ever even touched has been event Pokemon, so... Yeah.
So yeah, we're gonna meet Stiletto, the and Mike Bolton, the Poplio.
Mike Bolton.
Yeah, because he's a male. He's known for singing, and he has fabulous hair.
Here's my question.
Just like Poplio's final evolution.
Here's my question: whose mad genius idea was it? The shiny Pokemon. Whose idea was that?
Probably Junichi's.
Maybe Masuda, because it's called the Masuda method. Though.
No, Masuda is the one who programmed that breeding method. We don't know who created the idea of it, though.
It might have been a story, it might have been like a boardroom story decision because they wanted to make a Gyarados special in Lake of Rage. And so they were just like, okay, well then why don't we make that happen to all Pokemon?
It was clearly made to be a color incentive thing.
Yeah.
But that's it.
So...
I think the Red Gyarados just made there to introduce the idea of shinies. Should you have not run into one beforehand?
Yeah, which is again,
so many kids ran into them thinking something was wrong and not KO'd them or ran away or something.
I don't, to my knowledge, because I'm playing Gen 2 since it came out. I don't think I've ever had a playthrough besides the one I did for the review where I ran into a shiny before Gyarados.
Can someone please explain this to me? If you're going to have a special EXP share item, why would you give it to the player at the very beginning of the game? Either just have every Pokemon gain experience or don't. Ugh.
Granted, it makes your life so much easier, though, is the thing.
Yeah, and I'm sure it's just to address purists who rather do it the old-fashioned way.
Yeah, because if you want to grind because I love Pokemon, but grinding in Pokemon sucks.
It's weird. Having the experience, you kind of have to toggle it on and off at times.
It's much better in this game than X and Y.
Gen 5, yeah, but no, having it on all the time makes the game too easy because everyone's too leveled.
Yeah.
But leaving it off means you're just going to be doing a lot of grinding.
Yeah, because I left it off in my X and Y playthrough, and that was miserable. So I just leave it on.
Question though. Okay, first off, Ryan's screen is way too far to the left because the left side of the screen
is
cropped. When you have the experience share on, only the Pokemon fighting and fainting on the Pokemon will get EVs.
No, I think everybody gets EVs, actually.
You get half EVs as well as half experience.
Yeah, and there's also this weird experience curve in the game where when you're lower level than the Pokemon you're fighting, you get more.
You get more experience.
And then, which makes grinding up to level 100 in vanilla vanilla Sun and Moon really annoying because
you only run into like barely level 60 Pokemon that don't give much experience.
Yeah, but Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon thankfully has a wild
Chansey grinding.
Chansey SOSing is so good. Like you can get Pokemon up to level 100 so quickly. It's actually it feels wrong to be honest.
I think the highest experience total you can possibly get in any Pokemon game is like 250,000 experience.
Okay, why would you fade to black and then make us appear on the other side of the fence?
Because they don't want to animate opening the fence.
Yeah.
Youngster Joey.
Game Freak is weirdly lazy about some things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So one thing I do appreciate about, honestly, all the games since Black and White 2 have been good about this. Good variety at the beginning of the game. Because, like, this trainer school, you can get, like, some poison and dark type Pokemon, which you don't normally get until way later in the game.
No, as long as you're being a little bit patient, even on a route run, you can get like a Pichu and like some other things.
Yeah, so it's a good variety at the beginning of the game because even in Gen 1 and 2, you got to go a couple of routes before you get anything more interesting.
You basically had to go to Mount Moon. Yeah.
Like the first few routes of most Pokemon games that I've played have basically been limited to your Pidgey and Rattata analogs, whatever those might be for a given region.
Yeah.
Bidoof anyone, Bidoof everywhere.
Yeah, you also tend to get your
Pokemon at night.
Yeah, there also tend to be like the bugs, your Butterfree, Wurmple, stuff like that. Yeah, but that's one thing I think Black and White 2 and onwards have been good about because you can generally get a decent amount of variety within the first couple hours, which I think is important. One other thing about Sun and Moon that's also really cool is that when you catch a Pokemon, even
you still get experience.
That's been a thing since Gen 6, if I remember correctly. But
yes,
you have the option to add it to your party immediately. You don't have to go to the Pokemon Center and look at the PC box, which I think is a great idea because early on that lets you try out so many Pokemon. Like for example, if you just have a Pidgey in your party, wasting space because you don't have anything else to put in there, and you catch something really cool like a Makuhita.
I'm sorry. I didn't see who this was, and she was talking all tough. She's a preschool girl. I'm just...
Hey, Mom, look at me. I'm going to beat up a literal 5-year-old and take their money.
It's like a screenshot of the kid in class, and it's like, God damn, how many years this kid held back?
She was talking all tough at you, like, boy, you stand so close, I'm going to want to fight you. Is that what you want, huh? Huh? She's this itty-bitty little preschool girl.
Death comes for us all at the end. Preschool Joey was fighting.
This is precious.
My favorite image in the game is later on when you fight the preschooler and she has her arms in the hair like that, and she says, "I don't know how to do math."